Welcome back to my channel and another episode of My Favorites. This episode I'm going to devote to really doing a critique and a share about some of our favorite water parks. Now, water parks are a big thing with my family. It's a great way to spend some family time. We're pretty much all sequestered together, yet there's enough activities that people can go off and do what they want to do. They can go back to the hotel room and take a nap. They can, really, just do some stuff together. Or every year I also get a cabana so that they can hang out in the cabana and, just kind of catch up with one another. So I thought what I would do is just spend a little time with you really doing a little bit of a share on Kalahari, Camelback, and Cartwright. Those are the three that we've gone to over the last couple of years, and they are very different. And if you are in the Northeast and you have an opportunity to want to go to a water park, I think this could be valuable to you. So, it's a lot of different criteria I want to share. First up, I'm going to talk about reservations. Making reservations at Camelback is easy breezy, although I will be very honest with you, you are better probably staying on the queue for reservations and speaking to a person, especially if you're going to secure several rooms and those rooms have different needs. So what our family would need is most likely a room for 2 adults and 2 people, and then several rooms for 2 adults, and then maybe 1 adult alone. So rather than trying to coordinate all of that on a website, regardless of where you go, I would really recommend speaking to a person live. The other piece is that if you are, financing this, you also then want to make sure it's on your one card, so that expense is there, and you can also link your reservations for your cabanas to that room. Another interesting thing is that every now and then you'll find that they'll have food packages. So we did not have a food package at Camelback, but we did have a breakfast package at Kalahari, and we did have a breakfast package at Cartwright. So that gives you a little bit of a discount for the volume of people, and we're 11 or 12 people, so it's usually a whole tribe going in. Speaking to a person up close and personal is, I think, of great value. Trying to do it on the website, I guess I just don't have enough faith in my website abilities to be able to make sure I've actually secured what I need for my family. So again, the reservation process at Camelback was seamless. The reservation process at Kalahari was seamless. The reservation process at Cartwright, not so much. Now, I'm going to attribute that to the fact that it's brand new. The Cartwright opened in early 2019. The other 2 have been up and around for many years. I had to actually try to make sure that I had the right reservations 3 distinct times over the phone before we got there, and then when we arrived to find out that they weren't exactly what I had intended yet again. So I had to work with the person at the reservation desk when we arrived to make sure that, number one, I got the rooms that I needed, that the cabanas were indeed attached, that I had the breakfast packages that I needed. And again, I think they're just working out some systems and seams because they are new. And the reason I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt is because the customer service at Cartwright is so good. And I have to think that they're just working out a few website IT issues along the way. So the check-in process at all 3 is usually quite good. Now you can check in, and what we like to do is when we go to the water park, we arrive on that first day, we put all our things in storage there with the bellhop in the bell room, and then you take a separate suitcase that has your swimsuit and everything in it. You go to the locker rooms, you change, then you can go right to your cabanas, and you can have a really 3/4 of a day full at the water park that particular day. When we're finished with the water park, prior to going for dinner or anything, then we go back to the bell station, or we give a call to the desk, and we have all our suitcases delivered. So we try to arrive, it's usually a 2 to 3 hour drive to get to the water park. So we try to arrive in and around 11 o'clock so that we're probably at the poolside somewhere around 12:30, just in time to, go do a few things and then order some lunch. The Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi at Camelback and the Wi-Fi at Kalahari is very good. It's not excellent. It is slow, but it's consistent. You just have to be patient. It's not going to be what you have at home or perhaps what you have at work. I rely on Wi-Fi because I'm working all the time, taking my computer on vacation, and of course doing work from my computer. The big disappointing thing at Cartwright was their Wi-Fi was just awful. You had to keep logging back into it, and nothing drives me more crazy than that. So again, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt one more time because it seems to be their online reservation system, and of course this Wi-Fi thing. I think they have some IT issues, bugs, so to speak, that they need to flush out. Food. The food at Camelback is not the best, but there's certainly plenty of it. It is okay food. It's not horrible food. You're not going to say, oh God, we can't eat this, let's go someplace else. It's decent, good food. The food at Kalahari is excellent, and the food at the Cartwright is excellent. The breakfast buffets were everything we wanted, and there was a really nice variety of different foods to choose from at their different restaurants. They also have candy stores, and they have gelato stores, and they have everything else. There's places to get pizza, there's places to get popcorn. So trust me, at none of these places are you going to starve. So let's just talk about the water park itself. Camelback was the first one we went to, and I have to tell you, it set the bar high because they really have this down to a science, and it is an indoor and outdoor water park. So there is Watertopia, I think they call it, and then of course they have their outside park. So it's a great thing to kind of have because some days are going to be obviously more suitable for being outside, and then occasionally it's going to rain in the summer and or winter, and you want to be indoors. I liked the variety of having the indoor and the outdoor. I was able to get cabanas both at the indoor and outdoor pool, and all of the rides were good. We usually go in for the beginning of July, so the lines were substantial. I don't want to say they were awful, but remember, if it's 4th of July weekend, you're going to probably be there with a lot of people. So just plan accordingly, and you just have to be patient to get on your rides. I think that the Camelback Water Park offered the most variety because it had a true indoor and outdoor park. It also has zip line features and a couple of other things that we didn't necessarily take advantage of, but the younger people in my family did indeed do the zip line, and they enjoyed it. Kalahari. Now Kalahari boasts having an outside park. It's not really an outside park. There's a little area outside that they've put some slides on for kids, and if you don't want the kids to be indoors all the time and the weather is right, you can take them outside in the sun, and they have a few features to do. I mean, it's okay for the smaller kids, but it's nothing for adults. The thing about Kalahari is it has more thrilling features. So the rides are a little bit more extensive, the slides are a little more thrill-seeking, but that means that it attracts a more thrill-seeking crowd that tends to be a little bit more rowdy, and that's the difference that we found between Camelback and Kalahari, is that the Camelback population, the people that went to Camelback, were more family-minded, family-oriented. They minded rules and regulations. Their lazy river was indeed a lazy river, and if people got a little bit rowdy in the lazy river, the lifeguards took care of business and kept everybody on the straight and narrow, so no one got hurt and everybody could enjoy themselves. Not so much at Kalahari. Kalahari was a much more rowdy crowd, and I'm just going to say thrill-seeking crowd because it had thrill-seeking features. So if that's what you're looking for more, Kalahari is definitely for you. However, just a big heads up, if you have small kids, their lazy river is not quite so lazy, and they do have a feature that you may not be able to pick, where the lazy river literally puts you on a conveyor belt that takes you to the other side of the park. That was a little, that was a moment when, you see some of the smaller kids go to an area that you're not going to, and you're figuring out how you're going to meet up after that. And the lifeguards weren't all that good at keeping the peace and making sure everybody wasn't rowdy and everybody was safe and able to enjoy the feature. So just keep that in mind. With the Cartwright, can't say enough about their lifeguards and just the rules and regulations, even with blowing whistles about running, and just, it was just lovely. I don't know how else to explain it. The Cartwright water park itself, the one disappointing feature about the Cartwright was it did not have a wave pool. Now, my family really enjoys the wave pool. The Camelback has a wave pool indoors and outdoors. Kalahari has a wave pool indoors. Cartwright does not have a wave pool. And when I talk to the people at Cartwright, I want to say probably within the next year or two, I think it's in their plan on the to-do list to incorporate a wave pool into what they're going to be featuring up there. But it's not there yet, and I didn't think ahead to ask if there was one. I just assumed there was one, only to be disappointed that there wasn't. But the people are friendly. The rules are liberal. Everybody's there to enjoy. Things are respectful. And the staff does their job. And they do a good job in a very pleasant, responsible, and professional manner. And it keeps the peace so that everybody can indeed enjoy, every feature at the park. So let's talk about birthday and event planning. Part of what we do when we go to the water parks in early July is that our family has 2 birthdays to celebrate in early July. So I like to get birthday cakes and make it special. At Camelback and Kalahari, you can do that. They have event planning services. You can get a birthday cake made and brought to the cabana. You can have balloons. There are stuffed animals. They can make it very special for you. The Cartwright is not there yet, okay? They, of course, did their best to put birthday candles on cupcakes for us, and they came out and they sang happy birthday when we were at a restaurant, but there's nothing that they have right now where you can celebrate poolside or at the cabana. So I'm sure that's something that'll be coming later on. Kid zones. So for those of you with small children, and one of our little gals is not a thrill seeker. One is, but one is not, and prefers the kid zone features. The kid zone features at all 3 parks are very, very similar. There's a lot to do, from shooting hoops to going down slides, and some of their slides are really quite quick. There's a lot of splish splash, and there's just enough to do in the kids zone for just about anybody who's going from like a baby pool type of thing to a 10 or 12-year-old who might enjoy the calmer features of the kids zone, but the fun features of the kids zone nonetheless. There's also an arcade in every basement, so there's pinball machines, bowling alleys, all sorts of tables that you can do after hours or maybe after dinner. The Cartwright does a family film night. Every night they have a family film, and they serve popcorn, and it is lovely. Very, very nice. And let's talk about price. The best price for the value that we got was really at Camelback. Between the indoor and outdoor park, between the good food, between the special events planning and everything else, I think that the price was right. It was family oriented, and I think we got good value. I think the Cartwright gave us excellent value for what we got. Now, it was the least expensive of the 3 parks, and I absolutely enjoyed there and would go back. But again, it didn't have a wave pool, and that's the only drawback that I can say about Cartwright. But certainly, rooms were nice, everybody was great, and the value for what you pay is spot on. With Kalahari, it's a little pricey. It's a little pricier than both, considering the value and considering, yet again, just again, unless you enjoy a more risk-taking, rowdy crowd, and that's your cup of tea, you're going to love Kalahari. But for our family, it was just a little too rough and tumble, so I felt like I overpaid a bit. It is the most expensive, I feel, of the 3. Okay, so just some final takeaways. Let's talk a little bit about resilience and stamina, especially if you're over 55 and you're going with your family and you haven't been to a water park or any of these things in a while and you want to enjoy them. You need to get on a little bit of a resilience and a training program before you do this. So I would really try to, if you're going to do this, so we usually make our reservations sometime in and around April or May. If you know you're going to do this, do yourself a favor and start getting into shape. I don't care if you walk or you stretch or you take the stairs. Definitely start taking stairs, because there's a lot of stairs that you would go up in order to get to the top of a feature in order to slide down. You definitely want to lose a few pounds ahead of time, if you know, just to get yourself in good shape. And you want to use what I would call good old-fashioned common sense. Not every one of these slides is meant for somebody over 55, all right? If you go down them once and you think, you know, let's not do that again, don't do it again. There are plenty of other features there for you to enjoy. But it will test you as far as your resilience, especially going up and down those stairs. So the more you kind of prepare physically, the more you will enjoy that entire time with your family.